Here is our 6-night itinerary of Korea as a couple who only booked their flights and accommodation a few weeks before they left. So we stayed in Seoul for 4 nights and we decided to stay in an area called Myeongdong. It is basically the tourist hub of Seoul. It has really easy access to public transport, lots of good food options, restaurants, nightlife, night market. It is really busy. If it's your first time staying in Seoul, you do want to be, in the hustle and bustle. You want to have easy access to everything. So on our first full day in Seoul, I realized that we were really close to Namsanggol Honok village. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry. There's a lot of culture, a lot of history there. And it was really cool to look at, how people lived in Korea. It had a lot of games and activities to play. So we actually spent a lot of time there and it was really fun. We knew before going that we wanted to go to some sort of sporting game. We wanted to go to either a baseball or football game. The baseball season, I don't think it had started yet, or maybe it was only in pre-season. So decided to go to a soccer game. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. We didn't pre-book tickets beforehand. We had heard that it was pretty easy to get tickets once you go to the stadium. There was this one area that I guess they were the really die-hard Seoul FC fans, and they were so into it. They had multiple different chants that they would do. They had big banners waving around. They were hyped for the whole game. The atmosphere was amazing. One thing that we found really cool that doesn't happen in Australia is you can buy basically like a bucket of chicken that comes in a Tupperware container, and there's multiple microwaves throughout the stadium. So you buy a bucket of chicken, chuck it in the microwave, and then you've got a little game snack. It was really cool. So the Seoul FC stadium was close to an area that we wanted to check out. So after the game, we popped over to Hongdae. There's a pretty big university in Hongdae, so the area is sort of known as like a younger crowd, like a collegey bar area. There's a lot of shopping, restaurants, bars, and it's quite energetic nightlife. There is a street called Hongdae Street and Hongdae Shopping Street, and it's basically, it just goes forever. It has everything there. So you can spend a lot of time there. There are a few like street performers, so it's a very like lively and fun area to be in. We walked around and got dinner there, and it was a really cool vibe. One thing I didn't really know about South Korea before going was that there's actually a lot of hiking to do there. So on our second full day, we decided to go to Bukhansan National Park. So we did a hike called the Baegundae Peak, and basically this was one of the hardest hikes I've ever done. I'm not a huge hiker. I don't have a lot of hiking experience, but it was really hard for me. There are some points where you're literally scaling up a boulder. You have there's like a rope or there's a railing that you have to scale up to get to the peak. It's hard, but you get to the peak and you realize how worth it is. It is just a beautiful view. You can see the whole of Seoul. It's really cool. Definitely recommend doing that. It was 10 out of 10. We're here in the Brooklyn of Seoul. For our last full day in Seoul, we spent it in an area called Seongsu-dong. There was a lot of cafes, pop-up shops, a lot of shopping, both high-end brands, but also a lot of independent Korean brands, which were really cool. Took a bus to Seongsu-dong Cafe Street. It's literally just a street filled with cafes. So we had some breakfast there and then walked around the area for a little bit. Then going to House of Nowhere or House Nowhere, a very viral spot, I would say. It is basically an art museum / department store. There's multiple different levels with different brands, so would definitely recommend going there. After we finished up at House Nowhere, we got salt bread. This was one of the best things I had on this trip. It was kind of like a croissant, but less flaky and more delicious and just salty. Yeah, so that's created a really good image for you in your head, I'm sure. After we finished up in Seongsu-dong, we still had a few hours to kill. We decided to go to Gangnam and have a little look around. We went straight to the Starfield COEX Mall. It has the infamous Starfield Library. The main thing for us was seeing the Gangnam Hands, which is outside of the mall. It's like it's iconic, right? So we actually decided last minute to do the Seoul Tower. You can either catch a cable car up or there's a walking path you can take. We thought that the cable cars would have been a massive wait, so we just decided to do the walk. And there was a lot of stairs. So just be mindful. Definitely recommend going. It's free to do the walk. You want to do it on a budget, you can. It was definitely worth it. The views were amazing. And you can even buy a padlock, like a heart padlock at the top, and you can write a little message and then clip it to whatever you want. So that was our last full day in Seoul, because the next day we were up bright and early to catch a train from Seoul to Busan. Once we got to Busan, we dropped our bags off at the hotel and then went straight back out to Gumcheon Culture Village. It's such a cute and quirky area and there's so much to see there. There's actually a proper trail that you're supposed to do. So we caught a bus from our hotel that dropped us straight to like the start of the village, but we were silly and we entered through the exit, because you can actually get a scavenger hunt style map where you can tick off things to do. We skipped all of that and did it a really crazy way. We ended up walking for like what felt like an hour before we decided to just ate food, and then we decided to go to the start of the walk again and then do it all again, because it just seemed the best way to do it. And by that time, the sun was out and it turned into a really good day. There's so much to do. There's so many food stalls along the way. There's cafes if you want to sit down. But yeah, it's a really cool experience.
We're here at Gamcheon Cultural Village.
After our big day in Gamcheon, we found out about this place called The Running Man. It's based off a reality show in South Korea called Running Man. Basically has a bunch of like games and activities for you to complete in order to beat the Running Man, which is just beating the timer. You get to the station or the game, and it could be shooting basketball hoops or seeing how far you can jump, and it basically has like a benchmark, and if you complete it, then you complete that section and then move to the next one. And it was actually so much fun and definitely recommend going. We decided to go to Hyundai Beach, which is the famous beach in Busan. It's kind of similar to the Gold Coast in Australia, where it's a city right on the water's edge. But it's beautiful, and there are a lot of shops, there's lots of restaurants, lots of cafes along the beach, and it's nice just to have a little stroll. And then we just went back to our hotel, got some Korean Mackies. We discovered Singles Inferno, which, if you don't know what Singles Inferno is, it is the Love Island equivalent of South Korea, but way more passive and more like emotional. Oh, look at these. They have burger containers. Okay, so
I'm sorry, it's like gochujang in there or something.
ready?
The chocolate tray. It's like Belgian chocolate or something too.
That concludes our 6-night chaotic itinerary of South Korea. Whether you're the type of person who plans their travel, weeks, months, years in advance, or if you're the type of person who maybe only plans their travels a couple weeks in advance, I hope this video has shown you that South Korea has so much to offer. And so if you've been thinking of a trip to South Korea, this is your sign to just do it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.